have to do my internal consumption. I have to do 5 field training sales. I have to recruit 5 people. I'm a Superstart NMD. Now, and that's in 25 days. Now, in 100 days, all I have to do is make sure I create 10 people just like myself. If I create 10 people like myself, I become a qualified vice chairman. I don't have to hit those production rules that we have in our traditional on the sheet that you see in the BOP and in the back office as far as promotion guidelines. If I create 10 Superstart NMDs in 100 days, my first 100 days, and I recruit 10 people minimum, that means I now become a vice chairman, the highest level that we have. So it's just awesome. I should say chairman. Sorry, I have an incorrect spelling there. But it's very simple, very powerful, and it's what we think will really drive people into excelling in that first 3, 7, 25, and 100 days. What it's also going to do is we found the one thing everyone was doing great was recruiting. We found the one thing they weren't doing great, everyone says was production. That wasn't. The one thing people weren't doing great was they weren't filtering out the people that should not be part of their core team. You just weren't filtering out. Maybe you're too nice. Maybe you didn't know you're supposed to be filtering people out. But what this system now will do, this QS2 RPM, the Superstart to Success, it will filter out the people that shouldn't be there and part of your key team, and it will filter in, and it will let you see immediately who will be those key people, because the key people are going to hit these goals. The key people, they're going to win their Superstart pin. They're going to become an NMD in 25 days. They're going to get their $995 startup reimbursement, and they're going to become a vice chairman in 100 days. Those are your key people. It's that simple. People that don't attain these goals, you know, they probably aren't going to excel at the level you want them to, and you're not going to be able to spend as much time or resources on them. It's simple. That's part of the filtering process. Jim Fowles, I'd like to bring you in for a comment on this.
Dan, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, great.
That's great. Well, you know, Dan, you and I talk about this every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And this is, I think, a fabulous program to allow everybody in the field to incent the people that are going to really make this a business career. And that's what this is all about. We want to be able to filter out the people that don't want to make this a career. They can still make money in QS2. They can still achieve their individual goals. But this is for people that really want to progress to a point where they're full-time QS2 people. They're able to make the compensation numbers that we present in our PowerPoints, and the ability to really migrate their lives to a position they've never had before. So I love it. It does everything that I believe the field needs to have in order to motivate themselves, motivate the people that they're bringing aboard, and incent them to move very quickly. Because we all know if people can get into production quickly, if they can begin to earn money, they're happy. Everybody's happy when you have money in your hand. So this is the incentive to generate that type of enthusiasm in the field for both the leaders as well as the new recruits. So I love it, Dan.
Well, and I think what you said there was, you know, it is part of filtering what we have to do. And a lot of us are afraid to filter out our team members. We have 100 people. Now, there's a lot of people. They go, oh my gosh, I have 100 people. You know, it's great, I have 100 people. Well, you do have 100 people, but remember, industry statistics, as a leader, you have to remember what Kelly says. You got to remember what Jim says. You got to remember what I say. Industry statistics show if you have 100 people, 11 of those people are going to be full-time successful people with you. 89 of them are not. Well, guess what that means? 89% are filtered out. It's not a bad thing. It's just reality. And reality will allow you to understand and accept what your role in this whole program is. And that is to bring as many people as you possibly can into the system, and then filter in the ones that are going to follow this system and filter out the ones that are not going to follow the system. It's literally that simple. You filter in the good apples, you filter out the apples that aren't willing to follow. So it really is that simple. And it's okay, because if you have 11% success, it means you're going to follow in line with the financial services industry. It means you're going to follow in line with what built A.O. Williams, what built WMA, and you won't have an issue. You'll be tremendously successful if you just hit those numbers. I know a lot of people would like to hit 15 or 20 or 30%. That's great. If you can, then you're going to have even more success. But the filtering process is one of the best processes that you want to adhere to, because you don't have time to work with people who are not going to follow your lead. First thing is, of course, you have to do what's necessary. You need to do your internal consumption. You need to do your 5 field training sales. You need to make sure you've qualified up and down for the programs. Now, once you do that, you then have to look, when you turn around, who's following you. The ones that are following you, you help, you promote, you recognize, you spend resources, you spend time, all the things on them. The ones that aren't following, you don't waste your time anymore. You can't. You don't have enough time to waste your time on people who aren't willing to follow you. Okay, you got to remember that. Quick point I want to make, Kelly wasn't able to be on. He wanted me to tie it into what we're really working for. That's our culture. And he had talked about stipends today. He wanted me to make sure that as people are looking at how this whole how our whole program works, a lot of people were provided stipends, and that's great. And it really comes down to that the people that were providing stipends were contractually agreed to make sure they had 15 direct recruits a month. He wanted me to make sure everyone knows, if you have a stipend, make sure you have 15 direct recruits a month, and when you see recruiting, you can tell who's attained those goals and who hasn't. So let's make sure, guys and gals, we get those 15 direct recruits a month no matter what you do, and you have 30% internal consumption, because that's what we all agreed to when we agreed to that stipend program. It's a great program, but only if both sides hit their goals. So it's a great opportunity for us to really succeed. What I'd like to do now is show you a great picture. We're working on putting together what we call our Superstart program, our Superstart manual, and it's a ton of work. Quinn gave me some grief today because he said, Dan, I haven't been able to get a hold of you for about a month. I go, Quinn, I know. I've been working on 8 projects. The biggest one, and actually most of the projects Quinn had recommended that we work on, and I always listen to what he says, and I said, guess what? We listened to what he said. I'm working on all these things right now. The biggest one is what we call our Superstart manual. Sorry, guys. Gals. I have a little water. Our Superstart manual, and it's going to be an awesome, awesome book. It's going to be a binder. There's going to be a bunch of sections, which I'm going to show you the sections in. This is what we're going to use to train people. You're going to have the best, easily the best training manual in the industry when you bring in new people. And the training manual is going to do 2 things. It's going to filter people in, and it's going to filter people out. It's going to say, this is what our corporate stance is on exactly what you need to do to build your business in the first 100 days. If the people are willing to follow you for 100 days, they're going to be successful. If they're not, you got to filter them right out of there. It's that simple. So this isn't what the final cover is going to look like. But for example, on this, if this was the final cover, you'd print that out in color. You'd put it in the front view of a nice 1.5 or 2-inch diamond binder, and that's what the cover would look like. And then you'll have a bunch of tabs that will show you what you'll be able to print those out. You'll separate it out, but it'll be really nice because it's going to basically say, this is our Superstart platform. We're going to show people what they need to do to superstart their QS2 business, building the success one step at a time in 10 simple and powerful steps to success. So just awesome. Then you're going to go through, and it's going to have a wonderful table of contents, and we're going to have a lot of information in here. When we started, it was like, okay, maybe we can do like a 10 or 12-page fast start. But you know what? That's not what I wanted. I want to have the most comprehensive training for the first 100 days someone's here with QS2. And everyone's going to say, that's great, because those new people need it. Those new people need all this information. That's why we created this Superstart. And guess what? It's not. We did not create the Superstart for the newbies. We created the Superstart for you, the leaders, so you're going to be able to know exactly what you need to do to train the newbies. You're going to give it to the newbies. They're going to use it, but it has nothing to do with the newbies. This has to do with you. This will be your #1 tool, because what we've heard over and over and over again is, okay, I'm part of QS2, now what do I do? Or the leaders say, okay, I have these new recruits, now what do I do? So to us, the most important thing was to provide our leaders the tool that they needed to get these newbies off the ground running and filter the ones in and filter the ones out. So it's going to be a great, great piece. We think we'll have all this done no later than the end of October, hopefully a little sooner. But you can see here now, we have an introduction. Inside of that, we're going to have a welcome to your future. That's from Jim and myself. And then the second one is one of my favorite ones. I got this from Jason over there at Jason Emerson in Utah and Mike Morano. And basically, I titled it, This Ain't Your Mama's MLM Company. It really talks about why we're different and why we can bring in some of the big players from the MLM industry and tell them why we're different. On the Power One Recruit, Learning from the Past, Perfecting the Future, that's talking about A.O. Williams at WMA, Rule 72, and the Superstart Award Pin. All that will be right there for you. And then we're going to go through the steps. And we're going to have 10 steps and then a conclusion. Step 1 is become a do-it-first leader and product of the product, what they have to do and why they have to do it to do the internal consumption, dimer, what's there. Then we're going to talk about step 2, which is creating and managing their list. Step 3 is put it down on paper, commitment, goals, business plan. Step 4, build your business. What you have to do to truly build your business, the steps necessary. Number 5, marketing bots, hops, and our technology platform. That also is a way to market. Step 6, processes to facilitate the system success. We'll have about 6 processes we're going to go through in detail, show you so that you can now teach your team members what they have to do to obtain an insurance license, what they have to do to get appointed with the insurance carriers, what they have to do to submit business, what they have to do to track business, what they have to do to navigate our website, what they're going to have to do to use the Quantum Wealth Builder, which we'll talk a little bit later. All these things will be there in processes. I mean, extremely powerful. Number 7, how about understanding compensation income opportunities? We actually will go through the compensation sheets that we go through, what we go through in the bot, but also there's about 7 pages of a compensation brochure that we created that will be in-depth detail about how our compensation structure actually works. Step 8 will be our Quantum Wealth Builder, which we'll talk about in a second. That'll be our in-house proprietary software, 4 steps to help someone make the right decisions. Step 9, rewards and recognition. Step 10 will be plan your success, which really has to do with how you plan your week out. Then we'll have our conclusion, and then there'll be an appendix that will have things such as corporate contact information, emails, all the things necessary. And again, this is just a rough draft of what we're putting together right now. This will show the first 2 pages, a rough draft of the first 2 pages that Alex put together for us. Just a great guy. Jim and I have worked with him for many years in the past with some very, very large companies, and he just does an awesome job. And this basically talks about welcome to your future. Message from Dan and Jim. It's going to talk about how we personally congratulate every single member. This is a personal letter that we're writing to those new people signing up. Our mission, protecting the financial future of America one family at a time. And actually that'll be the crusade, so the missions up above, restoring the dream. And then based on our experience, if we told you exactly what you need to do right now at the beginning of your career with QS to be successful, would you do it? And then we created what I think is just, I love it. And it really comes down to, if you look right down at the bottom, I'm going to pull this over. Here we go. You can see here, down on the right, let's see, the 4th column, down at the bottom, it says, ask yourself the following questions to determine your coachability number. So we always say someone has to be coachable, right? We say that. You got to be coachable. Well, we created what we call the CAN, and it's your coachability number. I just created this for QS2 to use, and it's basically going to say, okay, am I open to change? Am I willing to leave my ego at the door and focus on my family's financial security? Am I willing to try new concepts or different ways of doing things? And we worked this with Scott Wells because he had some of this with some of the teams there in Denver to create some of these questions. Am I willing to follow a proven system that's focused on results through commitment, responsibility, accountability, everything? Then at the bottom, it's going to state to this new individual, this is a letter from the CEO and the president. It says, if you answered yes to all 10 questions, you are fully coachable. You're invited to move ahead immediately. If you answer no to any questions, please sit down with your leader and discuss the aspects of how you can work as quickly as possible to turn your no's into yeses. We are going to change the culture by making sure every single person that comes into this company has the right mindset, has that right mental attitude, so that they are going to be a positive influence on your team. They're not going to be a negative. So if they answer no, it's a problem. We're telling them right up front, the first 2 pages they read, if they answer no to any question, it's a problem. They need to sit down with you, the leader, and you need to help them do a mental attitude adjustment right now so they can answer yes. Otherwise, they're not going to be a vital member of your team. It's telling them right up front, don't even try to come in with a bad attitude because we're going to help you fix that. What I'd like to do is bring Jim in real quick, and Mr. Biles, give your impression of what we're building here with that Superstart manual.
You know, folks, you know, we all know, and I'll give you an analogy. When you go out and spend $1 million or $2 or $3 million to open a fast food franchisee, whether it's McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, you get a franchise. You get the ability to understand what it means to be successful at this business, and that's exactly what's been created here. This is a franchise that you're not spending millions of dollars to buy. This is a franchise that's being developed. It's being developed by Dan, and I'm going to tell you guys, you know how fast Dan talks? Well, his mind works at about 1,000 times that speed. I don't know if any of you used to watch the Star Trek. I'm older than all of you on the phone probably, but you remember the term warp speed? Well, that's Dan, warp speed. And I can tell you right now, there's Dan at warp speed has already spent hundreds of hours in developing this. This is not just a matter of sitting down and, okay, I'm going to type this out. It's a whole thought process of making sure that it's going to dovetail into exactly what happens in the field. And you just can't sit down and write this like a novel. This is a big thought process. This is a big brain job, making sure this is developed correctly. So I want to applaud Dan for what he's done. It has given you guys, everybody on this phone, the ability to have a multi-million-dollar franchise for nothing more than $20 or $30 a month. And if you follow this curriculum that Dan has put together, I promise you, it's an impossibility of not being successful. If you follow the curriculum, I promise you, you will be successful. So I'm really, really proud of what Dan has done here. It's awesome. And I can tell you right now, when you all get this in your hands, it's going to be your franchise to sell at $29.95. But it's almost ridiculous that they even state it that way. But I'm telling you, I've been around the food and beverage business a lot of my life in technology companies. And I know what these folks pay for these franchises. And we're going to provide you something that they can't or they have never provided at this level. And it's very little money for people to make potentially millions and millions of dollars.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you for the compliment. But in reality, what I applaud and really think why we're doing all this for is for the leaders that are on the phone now, because without the commitment of the leaders, there's no way I would have any commitment, or Jim Files, or Randy Grove, or Jim Shockey, or Mike Gunzler, or Scott Wells, Doug Arundel, John Phillips, Kelly Schnorberg. None of us would have the commitment to do the things we're doing right now. It really comes down to our feeling, knowing what every leader out there is committed to do. We're willing to do that much more to make sure you're going to succeed, and that's why we're putting this together. No company is going to have anything like this. That's one thing that Jim said that is true. No one didn't even have it close to this type of package that's available. When you see the detail and the data that says this is exactly what you have to do, they pretend, and basically what they've all done, which to me is kind of funny, all they've done is copy. They've exactly copied what A.L. Williams has done and W.M.A. have done. That's all. They copy it. And that's fine, but guess what? Some of that stuff is so old, it's just not going to work anymore. We have to bring the thoughts, the culture, the ideals of A.L. Williams to the future, to the current. And that's what my main goal is how do we now carry on what Art Williams wanted to do and really help a lot of people, but we do it currently. How do we do that currently? We can't do it the old way. We got to do it the new way, and we are going to have every single way to allow you to do this in a new way, the way we think, the way we process, the way that we provide information. You will have everything available. When I went through with Quinn, everything's going to be available in the next 30 to 60 days. He just couldn't believe it, and you won't be able to believe it at all the tools that will be laid in your hands. I'm just really proud that we have the type of leaders out there that are going to utilize this. And again, this Superstart, even though everyone else out there is going to think it's for the newbies, it's not. It's for you. It's for the guys and gals right now that are leaders that want to know exactly what they have to do to give the people they're recruiting the best possible chance for them to succeed. And part of the Superstart manual we talk about, there's responsibilities. When you recruit someone, we tell them right up front, and we put it in writing. Their responsibility is to follow your lead to make sure they do their dimer, they do their internal consumption, they do their health quote, and they buy their health. That's their responsibility. Your responsibility is to help them build their team, is to help them create that 200 list, whittle it down to 25 qualified market list, help them call, help them set up appointments, whether it's coming to the BOP or HOPS, help them then recruit the individuals and help them with 5 field training sales. So we outline it very, very specifically, very succinctly, so no one has a doubt as far as what their responsibilities are. So I think it's just going to be, I can hardly wait to see what happens when it gets finished. I'm just so proud of the work we put in it so far. My next topic I'd like to talk about will be our flip chart. It got brought up, I believe, by Dan Halferty at our last Executive Leadership Council call last Friday, and we'd always planned to get it done. Well, we need to get it done. What we're going to do is, I think in the next 2 weeks, we'll have a flip chart. It'll be our BOP that will be put into paper format, so you'll be able to either put that in a binder, you'll be able to print it out and do it in booklet form, whatever it is you want, so you can be out there in the field and have that printed document or a PDF that you can send someone so they can read it. We'll have that available for you, something that'll be very powerful. People are asking about that. We'll have probably our first brochure that'll be completed in the next week will be our RPM brochure. So we're going to have an awesome, awesome brochure that will go over what the RPM is, and it's going to cover those 4 concepts. Those 4 concepts will be, first, get your Superstart PIN. Second will be make sure you become an NMD in 25 days. Third will be make sure you get your $995 of reimbursement. And fourth will be make sure you become a vice chairman in 100 days. We'll have a nice, beautiful brochure on that available for you to download. You can print it. I just think that's going to be extremely powerful. Then we're going to have our Quantum Wealth Builder. And the Quantum Wealth Builder, I'm going to see if I can bring up a picture of it just so you can get an idea. It's not done, but John Phillips has done a great job. What happened was, just like with the Superstart, I wanted to create something that was a system that was duplicatable, just like our Superstart is. Now I wanted a software system. Quinn Dane came to me about 2 months ago and said, hey, we need a software system like Primerica has, like WFG has, and like all the other company has. And I said, okay, show me what it looks like. He showed it. He brought me information. So that's great. He said, but the problem is those things are so complicated, you can't even duplicate that stuff. It's tough to duplicate that. So I said, I'm going to design our own. And I think in his mind, oh my gosh, that's going to take like 8 years. But I said, I'm going to design our own. I already have some of it done, and I'm going to make it a process. I wasn't sure how many parts there was to the process. What I've done is I've made this now a 4-part process. So we're going to have our dimer, and the dimer is going to then tell us how much insurance someone needs. One of the nice things is that we've modified, with some of our leaders helping us, and then John Phillips doing all the grunt work, is the dimer now is going to calculate out how much insurance the man and the woman needs, or the couple needs, whatever it is. People, heard from Tony Reyes in the field about a month ago, people were putting together the husband and the wife's information together and coming up with this huge amount that was needed, and no, they need to be ran individually. So now when you run the dimer, you're going to enter in data right there on the screen for the man and the wife individually. Then it's going to calculate out 2 separate dimers for them with 1 entry. So it's pretty cool the way that's going to work. They'll say, here's how much the husband needs, here's how much the wife needs in insurance. It's awesome. The second is a lot of the associates out there said, hey, we need a financial needs analysis. Well, part of a financial needs analysis is what I call the PAD. The PAD is plan assets and debts, which means you're just going to gather assets about their assets and, information about their assets and debts. Just information, type it in, it's going to be stored there. You'll always be able to review it, and then we'll know what they have and what we should advise in the future. That's called PAD. Then we have MRA. MRA is probably one of the most important ones. Tony Reyes brought it up. Quinn Dane brought it up. Fuji brought it up. Nancy brought it up. Emily brought it up. So a bunch of people I talked to. Keith Lewis, AD, brought it up. They said, hey, we need to find out what someone has coming in income, what they have going on in expenses, and how much they have left over to buy our products. So that's what we came up with, MRA, Monthly Resource Analysis. It's going to now tell us, you're going to enter in how much income they have from the different sources. You're going to enter in all the different expenses. It's going to show how much money they have at the end of the month. If they have a positive, we know we can use that to then provide protection for the family and hopefully supplement their retirement income. If they don't have positive income, we know that we need to offer them the opportunity to make more money. So it's a great way, no matter what, we can use it to help someone. And then the RSC is the most powerful part of the whole system, Retirement Success Evaluator. In about 5 minutes, you're going to be able to tell someone exactly what they have to do to make sure they have a high probability their money's going to last throughout retirement. And guess what? Every single person you meet with wants that information. You'll want the information. You'll be running 100 of these for yourself. And you can do all 4 of those, the dimer, the PAD, the MRA, the RSC, and probably somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes and come up with a great plan for an individual. So let's say if we look at, I'll look at this one. This is a fake one I did for myself. So when you click this, you're going to come up with these 4 areas. It's going to say dimer, PAD, MRA, and RSC. And if there's a green check mark, it means you've already went through those. So it's kind of cool because it means it tells you what you've done and what you haven't done. You don't have to do them all. But if you want a full plan, you have to do them all. So let's say we went through dimer, but let's say we went through the RSC. I'm going to go into RSC. I'm going to show you what it looks like, again, in this draft format. It's kind of cool. But in the draft format, if you can imagine, you can show someone current year is 2013, projected retirement years 20 years from now, 2033. Have the retirement goals been reached? No. Initial monthly income indexed for inflation, $13,546, and in today's dollars, that means this person needs $7,500. But at a 3% inflation rate, 20 years down the road, that $7,500 needs to grow to $13,500. It almost has to double. So we need to be able to talk to people about the time value of money, about inflation, and this will help us show that. So it's very easy to tell that if this green line is the income we need and those blue bars is the income we have, guess what? You can tell anyone right there they're not going to have enough retirement income. And guess what? They're going to listen to you because you've shown it to them. And you're just not saying it, you're going to show them to it. And then we're going to be able to show each year where their income flows from. It's going to show what year it is, what their age is, what the spouse age is, how much pension income, Social Security income, insurance income distribution if they have some of that, IRA account income, 401k account income, you name it, total gross monthly income they need to receive, what they're going to get, and then do they have an income deficit or not? Well, in this case, it starts showing an income deficit. We're also going to be able to show how their assets are going to be used up. It's that simple. So we're going to be able to put a whole plan together in about 15 or 20 minutes and point to someone. If you showed someone, they're going to run out of money, and then you tell them they need to supplement their retirement income with some of our great tax advantage products, guess what they're going to do? They're going to buy your product because they have no choice other than planning for their own financial success versus their own financial failure. So Jim Fowles, I'd like to bring you back on real quick, bud.
I had to get me off mute here. You know, I can tell you right now, folks, I've played around with a lot of these monthly retirement calculators in the past, and they're cumbersome, they're difficult to understand. Dan gave me this about 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and literally just this portion of it, what you see on the screen right now, the monthly retirement income summary, the calculator here, it took me less than 5 minutes to forecast my retirement. It was that easy to use. I mean, Dan gave me no instructions. He said, here, look at this. I entered 8 or 10 numbers, and bam, it was there. And I can tell you, this is the power behind what QS2 is going to provide you, because nobody at all in the industry has this knowledge base. Nobody. And the beauty about it is that you've been able to take 35 years of Dan's experience. You know, he's offloaded and did a data dump out of his brain in order to develop this, to make it not only is it significantly comprehensive, but it's very, very simple to use. Literally, if you've never done this in your life, if you've never used any of this material, 15 or 20 minutes will get you all 4 modules, and I can promise you, you will need no direction to use it. And when you place this in color in front of a client, it's going to blow them away. There's no selling that has to be done. You literally will place this in front of them, and it's such a powerful, powerful statement to let them know that you're validated as their financial architect, that you indeed have the competence in order to offer them products and services and generate the type of income that you'll get from them buying your product. So this is a huge, huge validator, and I'm telling you, literally, I promise you, if you've never done this before, in 15 or 20 minutes the first time, you can go through the entire process with no instruction.
Thank you, Jim. And again, what our goal is, as we've always said, is to provide you all the tools, and we're going to have the best tools. It doesn't matter what competitor you look at. It doesn't matter who's out there. I don't care. We will have the best tools, the best materials, everything that's necessary to blow our competition away, because our whole focus is going to be having the materials that allow us to help each family one at a time make the right financial decisions. So whatever they have, that's fine. They can have their tools. Our tools are going to be based on making sure we fulfill our crusade, which is helping make sure every single family protects their financial future, but we're going to do it one family at a time. So it's just awesome. Randy, are there any leaders that are able to come on and give their view of what we talked about tonight? Can you tell?
They're not on the speaking side, but I can look, Dan. Give me a second here.
Can you open them up or not?
Yeah, I've got Tony Reyes here. I've seen.
I'd love to have Tony. Yeah, have Tony come in if he's there. Definitely.
Okay, let's see if we can bring him on here. Hang on. Let's give this a shot. Okay, Tony, can you hear us?
Dan, can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you, buddy. How you doing, Tone?
I'm doing great. Yeah, as you all know, just got back from Hawaii. Now I'm in our office here in San Diego. We have my key leaders here in the conference room listening to this webinar. And I'm telling you, we're all excited about these new tools that's coming out.
Awesome. Well, you've been a big, huge player in helping us develop the ideals behind it. So I wanted to congratulate you for, being part of helping me, Jim, Randy, Jacques, all the team come up with what we have to develop. And if anybody has championed bringing more and more tools, bringing what's needed, promoting, benefiting, it's been you, bud. So I want to tell you sincerely, thank you.
Well, thank you. And like I've always said in the past, and I always say it at every meeting, the only way we can build distribution in a big way is if we have a system that's duplicatable, and to make it duplicatable, it's got to be simple. And what you presented tonight is really financial services simplified. All right, and everybody should be able to do this. It doesn't matter what their background is, and I'm excited about the tools that are coming out. I'm excited about the leadership that's coming on board. Even without these tools, they recognize the opportunity already. Can you imagine the growth of our company with these tools in place? It's just exciting.
Tony, we're going to kill it with these things in place, with the leaders like you learning them, having them in your hands, and then teaching your leaders. Can you imagine what's going to happen? I mean, it's Christmas early.
That's right, and we will definitely dominate. All right, number one financial services company in the world. That's our goal from the beginning. That's going to be our goal, and we're going to be laser focused on that.
We are. Well, and all the leaders like yourself and your key leaders out there, you've done what we've asked, which is recruit the heck out of everybody, and that's what we asked. We asked you to do that. Now we're saying, okay, now we need to produce. But we're not going to tell you to produce without having the help. You're out there doing it now because you know how to do it, but we have to make sure all your key leaders now are going to know exactly what they need to do, and that's why we're creating all these pieces. You wanted to make sure we had, I'm going to go back to this one, we had our MRA, and the MRA is pretty cool. In fact, let me go back to this one. I'll go back to a different client. Hold on one second. But you wanted the MRA, which is a monthly resource analysis. Let's go over to this Joe Smith. Here's an MRA example, and basically, Tony, on the internet, you're going to be able to enter in, here's all the positive income, net salary for him, for the spouse, if they have business income, all the different miscellaneous incomes they can have, their total income, $8,000, and then their monthly mortgage payment, their credit card payments, their auto loan payments, other debt payments, everything that's there, and it's going to show, okay, they had $5,450 of fixed month expenses, and they have $2,550 of net income. That shows you exactly what you have to play with to plan for them for their future. How do you like that?
Awesome. I've been doing this manually, and again, that's how I've been getting all these big accounts, because we know their expenses, we know their income, we save them on their health insurance, we save them on their car, their homeowners policy. Yep. We generate cash for them. We look at their 401k plan, if they're maximizing the contribution. If they are, why? What's being matched? You will lower their 401k contribution, and then we free up $500, $800 a month. That's how we're writing big IUL accounts. Now it's automated with these tools.
Tony, I didn't even show you the best part. This sheet was because of you. I didn't show you the top. Do you notice anything about current and modified? You get to now go in, and when you enter the data, you can show that either here's what they're currently doing, and then you can give them more income, you give them more money to save, or in expenses, you can reduce it. Maybe they're going to be refinancing and getting a lower payment. Maybe they're going to cut their credit card payments down. Maybe we're going to save them in health insurance. Maybe they're going to put less money into savings. They have current life insurance, that maybe we'll use that to make it. Here's medical insurance. Maybe they're paying $1,200 now. Maybe they're going to pay $300. That'll show more net income. How do you like that?
Awesome. You know what? This tool is great also on your 6-month review. You can go back to your clients and see how they can modify their finances by freeing up some money. Awesome.
That's right. No, this is what you told me you wanted, so we'll have it done. I think it'll be up and running probably, I'm guessing, in about, I'll say 30 days, because I have to write a lot of the disclosure, and then we're going to have to make it printable. But I think we'll probably be able to use it in about 2 weeks in the field, Tony, as far as beta testing.
Great. Thank you very much, Dan.
All right.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you. Randy,
say hi to Dan, everybody.
Hi, Dan. Hello.
Hey, guys. Hey, is that Eden? I think I heard Eden. Is that Eden?
Yes.
Eden.
I can always hear her voice. How you doing, Eden? Hey, congratulations for being on that leaderboard. You're dominating it. Good job, Eden.
Thank you, Dan, because
Yeah.
of you and Tony.
Good job. I love seeing that. I really love seeing it. You know, you're doing such a good job. You've been committed to it for so long, and those are the people I want to see on the leaderboard, the people that are in my heart. It makes me feel good when I see those people on our leaderboard, so great job. Randy, anybody else you'd like to bring on one last leader?
How about one on the East Coast here, Sheila Gill. She's been one of the pioneers in the getting started for her own team, and I think hopefully she can hear us. I'm going to try and open up her phone line. Oh, it's not letting me open up her phone line, Dan.
Okay, well then, let me say something real quick about Sheila. I wanted to thank Sheila, actually a couple people, Sheila and Fuji, because with the Superstart, we took a lot of information that Sheila had, a lot of information that Fuji had, and I used the data and modified it so that we can now have this consistent view of the Superstart. So they both have their own systems that are running, and I said, that's great, you guys are both being successful, but I want one consistent package that the entire QS2 nation uses, so that's what I put together. Is Fuji on? Can you open him up?
Yep, I just opened Fuji up. Hopefully Fuji can hear us right now.
Fuji! Is he there?
His line's open. And
Are you on
there,
mute, Fuji? Maybe he's only responding to Roy now.
Yeah, I think he's got his computer speakers on, and sometimes those work through the microphone, sometimes they don't. So,
Well, okay, how about his twin? How about his twin? Is Quinn on?
I'm looking. I don't see Quinn.
Okay, one more leader. Let's get him on before we end this show. What do you got? How about Shirley?
Okay,
Shirley's
how about
texting the heck out of me. Shirley Abraham on? Can you get her on?
yes?
Can you open up
Shirley is on. Yep. Let me open up Shirley. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully she can speak now. Okay, Shirley, you there?
Yes, hello. Good evening, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing? I love the Quantum Wealth Builder. It's amazing. I think it's a definite game changer.
Great. Well, what are you going to do with it?
I'm going to make a crap load of money, guys.
All right. We like that. That's what we like to hear. You know, it makes us feel good. Well, what do you think about what we talked about as far as, you know, I know what your thoughts are with RPM, but let everyone know what do you think with RPM, with the Superstart manual we're creating, with the flip chart, with everything that we're providing out there.
Well, the RPM is amazing. I think that should have been implemented from day one. I love it. I'm glad that we can, the people that are in the system, we're going to, you know, give them a shove in the tushy and get them rolling. A lot of them, I've spoke to a lot of them today, and they're on board, and we're going to have a bunch of VCs hopefully in 100 days. As far as the flip chart, I love that too. I mean, we could walk around. I can go door to door and walk around with that in my hands, as opposed to having my internet and getting all that out. I just have a flip chart and go through the whole presentation in one shot and get people signed up quickly.
Get them all fired up. That's good. Well, and what we'll do is, as we get the Quantum Wealth Builder done, we'll make that actually part of the BOP and just show the power of what we're doing. We already made the Superstart and the RPM. I made that part of the BOP, so I'll get that out to everyone, and we'll do one, we'll record it. But we have that now, and then as we're building these pieces, we'll make them part of the BOP so people know exactly what we're about, not just here is the motivation, here's the opportunity, but guess what? There's a lot of concrete, there's a lot of sturdy building materials behind what we're talking about. So thanks a lot, Shirley, and I'll be seeing you there in New York, and Rocky to help. Hey.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Randy. Yep, thank you very much. Is Rocky available out there, Randy? Is he on? I know he has a call. I think he has a meeting, too, during the same time. Okay, how about Emily Demdemai? I know she's been texting me. Why don't you bring her on real quick?
Yeah, I did see Emily, Dan. Give me 1 second. I'll get there. Okay. There we go. Hopefully Emily can speak now. Emily, can you hear us? You there, Emily?
Emily, if you're on mute, is it showing she can't talk? Huh?
Yeah, it's free on our end, but somehow she may not be able to speak to her computer or whatever.
All right, Emily, you there? She's probably, I know with Emily, if we can't hear her, she's probably going crazy right now, because you know she wants to say something. Okay, Emily, we love you, and here's her comments. Awesome and excellent tools. Thank you. So thank you, Emily, for texting me and letting me know. I appreciate everything you do. Yeah, she says, can't hear me. Yeah, we can't hear you, but we love you. So Emily, we will talk to you on the radio show sometime this week to get you on. Jim Files, why don't you wrap up the call?
Well, Dan, again, I'm amazed when I walk through this in presentation format because, we look at this throughout the course of each day, and I'm so impressed with what we do have. And when you see it on the screen like this, and we all know it's coming, it's so exciting because I know you and I sat in front of clients, hundreds of clients, high wealth clients over the last many years in our advisory side of the business before QS2. And we know how powerful this stuff is because it establishes, again, the credibility we have as an architect, as a financial advisor in this business. And once that's established in the minds of the client, it's a home run. You're able to work with that client for literally a lifetime. And this is exactly what this tool does for every single person on the phone, that it sets you apart from everybody else out there because now you have a set of tools that others don't have, and it puts you just yards ahead of anybody else in which we or they may think that they're competitors. So I love it. I get excited every time I look at it, and when you look at it on the screen like this, knowing it's coming so soon, I can hardly wait for everybody in the field to begin using this. And again, I'll reiterate what I said, and I'll reiterate what Tony said. This is sophisticated financial planning in a very simple, straightforward, easy-to-use format. And I'll say it once again. I said it 2 or 3 times earlier. In 15 or 20 minutes, if you know nothing about these types of plans, you will be able to enter this information and look like a rock star. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Jim. Well, I'm going to end it with basically making a guarantee. And guarantees are very hard to come by from me. But the guarantee that I'm going to guarantee that we will be able to protect the financial future of America if we do it one family at a time. I'm going to guarantee that. And I'm not a fluff guy. I'm not a bluff guy. I know we can do this. Right now, we have the people. I know in the future we're going to have more and more people, and you're going to be able to recruit the people. But recruiting is only going to be good if we focus on making sure we provide each family the benefits they need, which will be the income they need because they're part of QS2, and then the financial services and the products and the strategies and the planning that's necessary for them to make the best financial decisions for their families. I guarantee we can do both those things. I guarantee it. All we have to do now is take advantage of what's going to be built over the next 30 to 60 days. It's going to be in your hands. You're going to be able to do it. Other firms are not going to be able to do it. They don't think this way. They don't plan this way. They don't put things together. Their CEO isn't developing all their materials. They got some marketing people developing their materials, which means it's not going to necessarily be something that you use in hardcore financial services. Well, working with Tony as closely as I have, understanding what he wants, what he needs. I know, and it's funny because I know Tony doesn't think I listen to him all the time. I do. I always listen to him. It's just now, when can I now enact and put it together? And basically, what you look at what we're putting together, this is what Tony wanted the whole time. All the things, from the startup, from the Superstart, to the brochures, to the leaderboard, to the quantum wealth builder. These are all the things Tony wanted, and he asked and asked and asked, and we're giving it to him because he's our biggest leader in the field. So I just want everyone to know that we will always give you what's necessary, and we'll give you beyond what any other company's giving. So I'm just proud to have you all here. Thank you. I'm glad Kelly called and said, hey, I'm on a plane. Dan and Jim, can you run this? And I was very, very happy to be able to give you this information. So let us know if you have any questions. Let us know if you have any ideas. We're moving forward, and we want you to be a major part of the success at QS2. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great night.